So next I want to look at the Shamfo parades that they do. So it's a parade, but yet it's almost like a battle that takes place. It's actually kind of connected to the military, and I have a video up that explains about the flags, the whole history of the flags and how they're related to the military. So for decades now, Ashamfo groups have been fighting with art. For first the British and then the Ghana government. And this is a function of the actual performance then of the Ashamfo groups that I'm showing you here. And they take inspiration from architecture of castles and churches from Europe, but then also the Akan architecture as well is the impetus for some of the images that you can find. And then many of the Fante states celebrate an annual festival largely given over to the Ashamfo, which is what this is I'm showing you here. And it's a big deal in their society. And I'll show you the next image here where we actually have their king that then is paraded through the street here in this a boat kind of float. So, and it's kind of like who is better at this is the way that they're battling this out in this kind of festival that they have. So do watch please the information on the flags, because I don't have any images of flags up here in the PowerPoints, but it's a really interesting history to look at. So now we'll look at some contemporary art, and the first artist we're looking at actually goes by the name Almighty God, and that is his, I guess, what he wants to be known as. And so these are the contemporaries among the Ashamfo, and he is doing a whole series of portraiture, and this is really where he is in his art. And he's straddling a Euro-American category divided by fine art for self-expression and commercial art for clients. The next artist I show you is Quante is the name. And the father was originally doing it, but now the son is taking up the craft of this. And he came up with this idea, the father came up with this idea of the fantasy coffin. And so the fantasy coffin is reflecting the life of the person who has died. So for example, a fish, right? So maybe the person who died and is being buried in a fish was a fisherman. Or maybe we have, you know, a lion, and then the person who is buried in the lion was somebody that was very high up in government or something like that, is very brave. So they're or strong. So the idea is that the coffin actually reflects some type of personality trait or the livelihood of the person who is buried in the coffin. This is a very interesting concept, and he started it in the 1950s, and as I said, his son is now carrying on the tradition and still making these fantasy coffins. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this week.